Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday evening Parent Academy webinar session. Thank you for joining. And again, we're excited to have you as audience listeners and participants. I am Tina Folston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist from Educational Equity and Outreach for Alachua County Public Schools, and I welcome you this evening. Tonight, you will receive some helpful information from our guest speaker, Mr. Chris Dodike, and the topic tonight will provide you information about Canvas. Just before we get started, let's review a few housekeeping elements. Please keep your microphones on mute through the duration of the presentation. We will be monitoring your questions and respond accordingly. Please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your webinar window, and please note that all Parent Academy webinars are closed captioned and recorded and posted to our website for access at a later date or re-review for any individuals who could not tune in live tonight. Your questions will be answered at the conclusion of each session. If there are specific needs to have a personal conversation, the Parent Academy's email address is parentacademy@gm.sbac.edu. And we will get to those questions and your requests for additional information forwarded to the correct Alachua County Public School member or through the Parent Academy. And now, without further ado, I would like to present to you our guest speaker for this evening, Mr. Dodike, who is from Instructional Technology Civil Center. Good evening.
All right. Good evening, Tina. Thanks for having me again. And this week is going to go flawlessly. And welcome everybody that's attending tonight as well. My name is Chris Dodike, and I'm an instructional technology coach for the district, which means I support teachers and the software that they implement within the classroom, one of which being the learning management system for our district, Canvas. So tonight I have a presentation just to show you what it actually is, how students access the program, and how you yourself as the parent or guardian can access Canvas and sign up for it and get notifications. So just slides here as we go forward. Canvas is a learning management system. So basically it's a platform, much like higher education, where students turn in their assignments, their quizzes, there might be discussions. They can access their textbooks and any other resources that teachers want to put in a one-stop shop. Parents can observe what's going on in their child's class by signing up for a Canvas mobile account, and then they can link their app or their account to their student's account, and of course see the content and observe their child's progress. What's different between Canvas and looking at Grades and Skyward is you can actually see the assignments that are upcoming. You can see what the submission was, if a child has submitted the assignment, has taken a quiz, and the results in a fairly quick time. The Canvas student app allows students to access their courses as well. It's just harder just on a phone to do all of your coursework. We definitely recommend having a computer or a laptop where you use a web browser, and it's much easier to access Canvas through My Portal in our school district. The objectives of tonight by the end, what I hope you get out of this, is to show you how students actually log into My Portal. If you have a child that's not sure what that is, then I'm glad to show you this evening. How to navigate the child's dashboard, to see the different courses, to switch the view if you need to, if maybe your child says, I don't understand where the course is, and then what are the course cards. So basically, when you get into Canvas, and let me show you how a student accesses Canvas from the start here. So what I'm going to do is pull this on over here. And basically what I have here is the SBAC website. So it's sbac.edu. And when you go to this website, you have a few different columns here. And if you come down to My Portal with the key in the cloud, you can go ahead and select that to log in. When you get to the My Portal screen, you can enter the username and password. This is the same credentials that your child uses at school to log into the computer. Another easy way, if they constantly use the computer at home, is they can sign in with Google. And this seems to be a flawless way. It'll ask you to authenticate your Gmail. They just put in their school board Gmail and password, and then it'll take them to My Portal. In My Portal, you have these different folder structures where they can basically access all of our digital platforms, including their classroom textbooks. Most likely, if a child's teacher is using Canvas, then those textbooks are within the platform. So you would go to the folder with, for a student, possibly virtual schools if it's in there, the professional development, and choose Canvas. My portal looks way different than a student's. I just have everything in the district. What child will have what's allowed at their school. So once the dashboard loads, you'll see all of the courses that are listed in Skyward as a separate course here on the dashboard. And from here, the student can look at their account. They can look at all their courses. If they needed to look back at what they had in the first semester, the courses global navigation key here will tell you. But what's really important here is if your child logs into Canvas and doesn't see these course cards, it's probably the view. And you can just come up to this ellipses up here, select it, and you would move it to card view. So if they log into Canvas and it looks something like this, where you just see assignments and it's hard to actually see what teachers are assigning on pages, you just come up to that ellipses and go to card view. And again, this will be recorded tonight, so if you need to reference it, you can go back that way and look at it. Once you are in a course, they would just select it. I can show you what the student view looks like. This is obviously a professional development course that I've used throughout the summer. But when you look at it, teachers will either have a few of these side navigation channels on, or they'll turn most of them off. We see a lot of teachers just living in modules. But usually on the front page, there might be a syllabus, a welcome, and some information about the course for the year, so the student knows exactly how to navigate. And then they would just go through, and if it said week 1 or assignment for this date, they would select it and then have to submit for the assignment. So for instance, if we have an assignment in here, let's look, you would see a rocket ship or maybe a document with the pencil. And if I clicked on this assignment, it would tell me the instructions, what I have to do the assignment. And then from there, there might be some documentation or things like that. And the students can do their work and submit through this platform here. Okay. So as we move along here, again, in these slides, I'm just showing you exactly where the landing page is once you open a course. Every teacher may have it differently. Again, Canvas right now in our district is an optional tool for teachers to use. So your child may not have a Canvas course for all of their teachers. If a teacher is using Canvas and wants students to submit work this way, they have to actually publish it. So if you, let's say elementary students, you might only see a language arts course, and that's how they're going to access the Benchmark Universe textbook or whatever adopted textbooks we have for the year. So who is using Canvas then? Some of our secondary teachers, it's widely used amongst high school. We're seeing it pick up in middle school. We use it in the district for our professional development, or again, like I mentioned, I'll use it for trainings to keep as a repository for helpful links and whatnot. And a teacher may use it as a repository for their course as well, just to give students an option if they're out sick or they had to miss a few days. They would know they could go back and look and say, I know where all my assignments are without having to retrieve paper copies and bring it home. And then that last part, access to textbooks. The more we go forward with new adoptions, like this past year, we had a social studies adoption. So now a lot of those books are being integrated into Canvas, and especially in secondary, that's how students will be able to access it. And teachers do communicate that to their students, that this is the way that you will go. If they don't go through Canvas, then they would go through that My Portal to the textbook section. So then the big question here is, how do parents access Canvas? And this is super important. So I'm gonna just pull up, let me get back into here. This was my portal. I'm gonna sign out of it for a second. And let's just look back at that ACPS homepage. We'll start from scratch. So so parents can navigate how they can get to signing up for an account. So the way you would do that is you would go to My Portal just like your child does for school. Once they get to this screen, it's going to show you the sign in. But a really important feature of the portal that I want to point out is this family support resource area. This is going to take you to a website that's going to mention a lot of initiatives and access that we have in our district. So that family support resource is under My Portal if you need to access it. So let's go ahead and take a look in there and see what we have. And once you get in, you'll see all of these channels across the top. And this is really great. This is well put together because it will tell you exactly what each of these things are if you're not sure. We also urge parents to sign up for Skyward Family Access as well. And that documentation is in here under the Skyward channel. But tonight we're solely focusing on Canvas for parents. So we're gonna click on the channel Canvas. And as you come down here, you're going to see these Canvas for Students with an overview, much more in detail than what I'm going over tonight. But then you have these additional resources on the side here. And if a parent wants to connect a parent account to a student account, they're going to come down to the second to last link here that says create a student pairing code. Once I select that, you're going to get a document that gives you all the directions for how your child can get a pairing code for you, the parent, to link a Canvas account, and then you can see all the information that they see within their account. And the steps are, a student would just go into their account. Again, we urge students to use it on a desktop or a laptop computer rather than the app. Things can get glitchy within the app. And also, we have admins in our district that are over these accounts that can help. When there's a problem with the app, then it's got to go to Instructure, the parent company, and I can show you how you can get to that as well. But when a student is in their account, they would click on their account name or just the face there, the silhouette. And then it's going to say ways to connect over here on the right side of their account. And they're going to come down to where it says pair with observer. From there, they select that. And then the last prompt's going to say note the pairing code, give your parent or guardian, and select OK. So you're going to get this pairing code, and they say OK. And a student will have, I believe it's 7 to 10 days for a parent to enter that into their side. So from the Canvas student app, you get the welcome screen, menus up in the upper left corner. If they go to settings, they can pair with the observer within the app. And then same thing, get the pairing code. The parent will take it for their app and they'll enter it. And I'll show you how to get that app here in just a second. So those are the instructions for creating a pairing code to be linked to your child's account. Let's get out of here and move it right along. Once a parent is in the account, they're going to go ahead and it'll say, what's your school name? And the only thing that should really pop up is Alachua County, either for parents and guardians or students and teachers. And of course, they'll select parents and guardians. If you do not see it, you can start typing Alachua and it will populate. It won't show another school district. And then from there, the next important thing would be setting up needed a Canvas account. Click here, it's free. And then parents, you can create your account within the app. Once you have signed up for Canvas in the app, it will tell you to log in, or parents sign up here. If you already have the login, you would. But if this is the first time you have the app, you would sign up. And then it's going to say all the information that you need, your name, your email, come up with the password, re-enter that password. And then with the pairing code that your child has generated, you're going to enter it in this section here. And please agree to the terms and conditions and then start participating. This is I don't have access within the parent apps. So this is actually just screenshots of someone who does, and we just blurt it out. But within the parent sign up, once it's in, then you will see your child's initials and their name, and you will see all of their subjects that are using Canvas. So parents, if you have the sign up, you've gone ahead and you've gotten the parent code and you've created an account via the app. That's the only way we can do it in our district, is to go through the app to create your account. After that, if you want to use your computer to log in, you can go down to this sbac.instructure.com/login/Canvas, and then you'll enter those same credentials that you have created for your account. So your username and your password, and that will be the web-based way of accessing. The last thing to point out also, that screenshot didn't make it into here, but when you're searching, you can go to the Google Play or the Apple Store. When you're looking for it for parents, it's going to be the blue icon. There'll be a red one for students, and the blue one is for parents. So that's the one that you'll want to install. And if you need both of them, because maybe your child uses your phone, then you'd want to download both of them. And a child will sign in the same way they sign in at school with their Active Directory. Okay, that was pretty fast, quick overview, but it's pretty simple once you get the parent code and can log in and navigate. So at this point, I guess we can open it up for questions.
Thank you, Chris. At the bottom of Rue High School.
That is a great question. So it should. The idea is once you're connected as the parent, it should. We did see some transition things that happened where if a parent signed up in middle school, they left the district, they came back, then the child was in high school, that they had to sign up again. But signing up once should be enough that you go through each year. If not, then it would ask you for a pairing code again, and then your child would just need to pair it for each year that they're in high school. But you shouldn't have to get rid of the app or delete it or anything like that. How do we get
Okay,
a
how do
code
we-
if a student? Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we get a code if a student doesn't volunteer a code? If your child's not willing to give the code, you could discuss with your child's teacher. That would be my best suggestion because it does happen. Sometimes, if you're an observer, you got that observer status, a teacher has the right to remove you from a course. Again, Canvas is optional. So if they don't want the grades to be seen by parents in the course, then they're probably directing you towards Skyward Family Access. But there are plenty of teachers that want parents checking Canvas. So it just depends on who the child's teacher is. So that's a good conversation to have. There's a school that does not have the ability to do the pairing code. Is that correct? Whoever you talk to at the school may not be aware. So you could reach out and tell them to talk to their instructional technology coach, have them email, and they can send the directions, because those directions are for the entire district on the My Portal Family Resources site. So that's for everybody. Is the login ID and email address. For students, it's their Active Directory. So a full Gmail would be the first initial, middle initial, last name. That's all they would have to use for their username. They don't need to do the @gm.sbac.edu. And I think parents try with just the username, but if it doesn't prompt you, it would let you know that you need to put in a full Gmail. Do parents need a code for each course? No, they don't. Parents do not need a code for each course because the child is going into their account. Once they're in the account, then all of their courses load onto the app. Great questions. And just thinking aloud, again, it's not mandatory in our district for teachers to use Canvas, but with the amount of laptops that are making their ways into the classrooms and the amount of laptops we now need for testing, We're trying, at least my department's really trying to push getting students to or teachers to use Canvas just to make it easy to consolidate everything into one platform. And that way parents don't have to run over my portal looking at 15 different things that teachers may request to access. With two parents, do each parents need a code or do they share? So if a child generates the code, then they would need to give them to each parent. So each parent would need the same code. It wouldn't be separate. Good questions.
And Chris, I'll just say to parents, we didn't get this question tonight. We got a question before that asked about accessing your child's account and just going in and looking at their account so that you can see everything, and if it was necessary to have a parent account. And I can tell you from my personal experience, it is important for us as parents to have our own account because we can email teachers, we can follow up and ask questions and have that direct connect from parent to teacher instead of trying to navigate on your child's account, because I don't know if the teachers will email the same. They will know that that is your account. They will know that they're directly dealing with a parent versus the student having the account and the parent is emailing off of that.
And that's great, Tina. And I'm so glad you're the host and that you have used it. And I, hearing your testimony, that's wonderful because it's an easy way, especially if you're at the grocery store and your child says, I have a assignment due tomorrow, we need to get home. You can quickly check and see, are those due dates on there? So great points. Can each parent have their own Canvas account? Yes, they can. It seems like Canvas would be a great thing for teachers to use because it works to cut phone calls or emails from parents who really want to stay on top of things. That is 100% true. I am a strong believer in Canvas, and all of my trainings, I just keep preaching, make your life easier and put everything in Canvas. Again, when we had to shut down during the height of COVID and go to Digital Academy, we had a slow. We didn't do well as we do with in classroom instruction. So there was this layover afterwards where people felt like there's a negative connotation to Canvas. But I think more and more as the technologies push for testing, teachers can start to see that, oh wow, this would make our lives easier. But again, if it's too much for a teacher, you would want them to be the most comfortable in how they give the instruction for your child. Are teachers going to migrate Skyward to Canvas? So that is an option, and it's basically connecting Canvas to Skyward. It's a feature called Grade Passback. So if they line up their categories in Canvas the exact same way they line up their categories in Skyward, they would just only have their end of the grade once. Enter in Canvas, post to sync, and then it goes to Skyward. Again, that's optional. So there's no way of saying this has to be done. It's the comfortability of how a teacher manages it.
And I can tell you too, I see this this comment saying thank you. You're so very welcome. I can also say that as a parent, I not only used it just for what is my child doing, but even in that contacting the teachers, I could send, hey, my child is going to be out today. Is there something that she needs to complete? And that was a great way of communicating with that teacher. I could also say, hey, if you ever have any issues with my child not doing what she's supposed to do or talking out of turn, like, please let me know, and I'll make sure to get on top of that. So it's not only for the schoolwork or what needs to be done or the grades. It's also just a great line of communication that you could have, because I just actually had my daughter just graduated from high school, and so that was a way, because it was so many teachers, it was so many assignments, and just to have that communication with them, because you couldn't always get on the phone with them, couldn't always have a Zoom, you'll have that access to them. So you're definitely very, very welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's
Yes,
great
the
that the
book access on there
textbooks,
is awesome.
yeah, and
Yeah.
financially it makes sense going forward. I don't think people understand how expensive textbooks are when we go through adoptions. If we could cut the cost of paper copies, hard copies, and start putting them through digitally, it would just start to make more sense as long as we have enough computers for everybody. Tina, do you want to show where this will be recorded and posted in the future?
Yes, because I know that you have yours probably still pulled
I stopped
up
sharing.
to our homepage. Okay, because I
I
have
could
to go and
Here, I can go ahead.
open all of that up.
Here, I
You
can go ahead
can,
and do it. Yeah.
okay. Okay, so okay. So Chris is actually going to navigate to our Alachua County Public School homepage.
All right.
Okay. And so right across the top, you're going to see that hand with the equity and outreach. You'll click that. The hand icon, just scroll over
Oh, I'm
by
sorry. I'm
where it
sorry.
says buses. Yep, that's okay. And then there on the left-hand side, you'll see Parent Academy. You'll click that. And it should be midways down the page, down the center of the page.
Could we select the video links from the side here, or is that something separate?
You probably could. I've never navigated that. I just usually scroll down and then all of the videos are there.
Oh, okay. The previous virtual presentations.
Mhm. And so there they are. And then you can just click on it and it takes you straight to the YouTube page where they're recorded at. And so those are all ones from this previous school year. So if there's anything that you see on there that you may have missed and you want to go back and watch, you're definitely welcome to do so. Thank you for that question. Thank you, Chris, for navigating.
Hey, I owe you one.
All right, let's see if we have any additional questions coming over. And so is it correct to say that if they have any problems or issues with the parent code or asking questions, they can reach out to their technology reach out to the teacher or to the school and just ask who that particular person is, or should they call your office directly?
So they should reach out to the teacher first to make sure that the teacher is using Canvas and allowing observers in the course. And from there, if a teacher's not sure how to access that information, you can go get that pairing code on the My Portal page. If you at any time get a code and you need to reset it, at that point you would have to contact the instructor help support. And you can do that right in the app. It'll say need help. And when you select that, it'll take you to a number or on-call person that will be able to reset. I know there's been plenty of parents that have had issues with that, whether a child left the district and came back or whatever, transferred schools, something happened. They would contact support and were successful getting it reset.
Okay, thank you. And then your app, I don't know if it showed it, but the app that the children have is red and then the app that the
Yes,
parents will have is blue.
that's correct.
And we'll just wait for you all to see if you have any additional questions before we close out this evening. For us, then we can tackle that. Oh, there we go.
Good question. How long will Canvas hold past assignments and grades? So depending on if it's a year-long course or a semester course. If it's a semester course, it will be until the grading window closes and then the second semester begins. So if they need to go back and check grades and they can't see it, they should be able to see all 4 quarters in Canvas. That will always be available. But to actually see the coursework, it's available until the end of the grading period of the course. So if it's all year, the last day of school, it's usually 2 days after school that they have access to see their grades and submit work. And then it goes into their archived courses.
You are very welcome. We just appreciate you guys joining us back for our rerun of this session. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And you guys had great questions. And again, I hope we can support you and all the teachers that are using it. And, eventually, somewhere within the career of school, students are going to access Canvas. And especially if they're going on to higher learning, it's important that they get those skills.
So I just would like to thank you all again for joining us on tonight's Zoom. We appreciate you. Each week you are available to connect with us for more informative presentations and discussions. Once again, I am Tina Folston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist for for Educational Equity and Outreach for Alachua County Public Schools. I hope that I see you all back here next Thursday. Where you will receive some helpful information about searching for scholarships. So if you need to reach out to me for any reason, the Parent Academy's email address again is parentacademy@gm.sbac.edu. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Tina. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.